So, okay, let me go ahead and give the title. Hey, Andre, welcome in. Let me title this thing up. So this is part three now of our Python Skillshare. Vidi will be leading us through today, and the topic is Vidi has told us already, but I just started the recording. It will be on web scraping. So we'll look at the beautiful art of gathering information. Excuse me. Oh, the coronavirus everywhere. Uh, the beautiful art of gathering information from a website using I believe we'll use a script. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Vinny, actually, for that matter, let's talk about some computer science trivia. Is Python a scripting language or a? Oh, wait. What are the two types? There's scripting languages, and then
It's interpreter and a compiled language or interpreted language.
and Python
So
is
what,
interpreted.
Python is interpreted
Okay,
language.
got it.
So the difference is that compiled language, actually, if you have a whole bunch of codes,
Yeah,
they kind of compile everything first and then transform it into a machine language and then do the operation all in one batch.
got it.
But interpreters actually do this execute the code one by one, line by line.
Got it.
So that's the basic difference.
Why do you think that Python, being an interpreted language, is actually more popular than, say, a compiled language like C or C plus plus?
Right. So one of the reasons why Python is very popular among new developers, especially and data scientists, is because first they have Python notebook, like what you do in Google Colab, right? You can process the script line by line, portion by portion, and it will save it first. And second is also because the language is pretty easy. C is actually very some people call it a high level programming language. Means that it's very Englishy, very it sounds like English, but C, in my opinion, it's somewhere in the middle. You
Hmm,
can actually access somewhat like a machine uh, level language there.
got
You
it.
can assembly language and all those stuff. But why it's popular? Yeah, I think it's very versatile. You can use it for web app. You can use it for data science. You can like R. R is very popular for data science in the past. Well, it's still now, but it's usually used by researchers who are like 30-ish above. Like, yeah,
Gen
you,
Xers. Okay, interesting.
well, that's a bit discriminative, but a lot of old researchers actually use Python too. But some researchers who are more traditional, they prefer to stay with R because they're more familiar with R,
Mhm.
and R is specifically designed for data science, while Python is more versatile.
Okay, and
Right.
really quickly, also, Vidya, if I may ask another sort of conversational cocktail conversation about computer science. I understand interpreted languages are always going to run slower than compiled languages. So,
Yep.
given that compromise, why do you think we see an abundance of interpreted languages when people still want speed? Is that sort of something that they're willing to put aside for coding simplicity?
Right. So in the past, yeah, of course, there's a huge difference between interpreted language and compiled language, right? But nowadays, since computing power is pretty strong, and a lot of people actually deals with data that are over a million rows, let's say, they will still use Python. But if you start dealing with huge amount of data, you will start considering like quicker language and quicker implementations. But as far as a lot of data science, especially in academia, where your data maybe 100,000, 200,000 tops,
Huh?
even for thesis among my batch, the most that I've seen is 15,000, 20,000.
Wow.
Python is still relatively quick.
Okay. And what language would you use if you were doing something like what Uber or Airbnb or where you get like
Oh,
millions of records coming?
damn, that's a good question. What would I use? Maybe I still use Python.
Oh
I
wow.
still use Python, yeah,
Okay.
because of the versatility of Python. How it connects and how easy it is used to glue them up to other stuff. And Python, you can actually Python is built on C, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you can actually tweak Python to be quicker by inserting C language or assembly language.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and kick that off. So
Right.
that for Cynthia and Andre, this is a bit of nerd speak. Um, yeah, in all a huggable, friendable way, right? Nerd being like a good thing. So one of the key topics in computer science is like the compromise between speed and
Right.
versatility. So
Yep.
that was just a review of that. Okay, Vinny, bring us in. Let's take a
So
look.
yeah, okay. For today, I will show you guys how to do simple scraping, and I will use a Bukit Vista website as a sample,
Okay.
right? Because this will be shared, and let's say maybe stuff could go messy, but the good like the best practice of web scraping is to check on the website whether you're actually allowed to actually do web scraping. Facebook do not allow that at all. I think they have to use it doesn't have API even after Cambridge Analytica.
Oh, right.
Right. Okay. So let's see Bukit Vista website. So the website itself is written in a language called HTML.
Mhm.
Let's see what kind of information can you check? Do you want to collect? Let's say the employees of Bukit Vista that are written in the Bukit Vista website. And this is a very good sample because let's say you want to collect information that is in form of grids or auto-generated results. There might be like hundreds or thousands, like in marketplace. Let's say Tokopedia or whatever. It's not a good place to scrape Tokopedia, but let's say you want to scrape Tokopedia, see it's generated. And you can see actually that a good website is usually very structured. What does it mean? Structured means code-wise, it has to be readable and arranged in such a way that there is a pattern. Okay, let's confirm it. So in your Chrome browsers, press Option, Command, and J.
Option Command and J. Option
Yes.
Command J. Yes.
Okay, Option, Command, and J on this
Oh
page.
wow, crazy. Yeah.
You can actually see the elements, meaning the codes that are used to construct this HTML website, right? So let's see the specific part where you display the employees of Bukit Vista. Press the symbol, the top left one, to select an element in the page to inspect it, and then you can actually inspect it one by one. Which content actually refers to which code in the left side. So it changes, right?
Oops, I just did that on the recording page, Vinny. Like a moron. How
Oh,
do I get out of it?
you can exit it on the top right.
Top right.
Close it.
Okay.
Or simply press Option Command J again.
Option Command J. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go back to my browser. We'll press Option Command J. And okay, thank God. All right, cool. So I should
Right.
probably do that on a different site. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. So let's see. Here we see that Miss Wayana's display picture is marked as image.crop dash circle dot lazy loaded, and here it's the same, right?
Hmm.
In display picture, and it will be consistent. And then it is scrapable. There's a particular pattern that you can use to scrape this website. So let me try select the whole thing, and we see here there's always a class that identifies a portion of a website, right? So if you have a division tag, there are a lot of divs, right? Div this, div that, but a special part of the website can be identified using a special, like an ID card. How to differentiate one portion of a website to another portion of a website. Okay, so let's see. Let's open our Python code. For this Python code, I will need you guys to do, if you guys are doing it on Google Colab, right?
I think Andre, have you ever set up the collab interface yet?
Yeah, Cassandra and Andre.
Not yet.
Ah,
How to
okay.
Okay.
set it?
It's very simple. Try
Yes.
open this link. I will share the link in the chat below. Okay, collab.research.google.com. There you go. Okay, if you open it, you will see this page. And yeah, about web scraping, the grind is to understand the page itself because a different page has different elements to it. The design is quite different depending on the developer. And you actually have to read and analyze the pattern one by one. And this is where it's very useful to kind of like, wait, let me create a new notebook to kind of analyze which part can be used and which part cannot be used. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'll have you guys do this Python exclamation mark Python install requests, then just run it.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna create new a new notebook.
It will take some time to initialize the to borrow the Google server and connect. And this is actually a library to that acts like your browser. So it imitates your browser. Python. Oh, pip. Wrong. Sorry, it's not Python. Pip install. And also add pip install bs4. BS4 stands for beautiful soup. It is actually used to parse the result of the website, basically.
And
Parsing.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah. I was gonna ask for the benefit of Andre. Yeah, go ahead, Vinny.
yeah. Parsing means that if you have this kind of code in your website, right? It's very codish, and but then there's a certain pattern that you want to retrieve. You can parsing means you isolate that part of information that you want to have, so that it and transform it into a more readable format, basically. So that's the simple way to explain what parsing is. And okay, so after we've installed, Andre and Mr. Jing, have you installed
I
request the soup?
I have. I'm all here. Let me show my screen. So yeah, I have the exact same readout as you do right now. So I've gone ahead to pip install BS4 and pip install requests, and it's all here.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, so after you've installed the request and BS4, as I've said before, BS4 is used to parse the HTML file, and a request is used to act as your browser to retrieve the information from a website. So now we'll start coding this, and it's very simple. The request is very simple. We have a response, and we want the response to be request get and the URL of the website. So the URL of the website is bukitvista.com/about us. Okay, and then we'll try to print the response, right? As usual. Request is not defined. Oh, sorry. We have to import it first. Import request, and also import from PS4, import beautiful soup. There. So after import, we have to import it because it's not. We have to kind of like borrow the module or the function from that particular library, which is request.
Beautiful soup. Okay.
Yes. So we see here that the response is 200. So what does response 200 means? It means success. There are various kinds of response such as 500, 200, 404, not found. The one that is usually encountered, response 404, but 200 is authorized. So how do we get the information then from the response? So it's very easy. You just add response.text, and we'll try to do it in another code part. Print response.text. Okay, and you see here, you get the exact same HTML code as the one that you would have gotten in the website itself.
Ah,
So now let's try to search one random name. Let's say I want to search Jing, let's say. Is it there? Jing there? Yeah, there are 34 hits for Jing,
nice.
right? Jing here, also Jing there, Jing Choyang, and also the LinkedIn, like the LinkedIn website, like profile page. There's a lot of information about Jing here. The name of the position in the company. Yeah, we have a lot of hits on Jing, right? So which one should we choose then? So what should we choose is we go back and refer back to the page itself. If we see here, we want to get a specific part of the website, right? And how do we get that? Again, let's see. If I hover my arrow here on this part of the HTML file, you'll see that it covers every profile page, every profiles, right? So it will show us that, oh, it's a good indicator to isolate the information on the website. Let's try to go a little bit deeper in the just open the arrow and see. Oh, this one doesn't cover everything anymore, right? But that's what does it cover? It covers each of the items in the list. Basically, this represent Mr. Jing. This represent Mo Wayana. This represent Om Rafiq. This represent Kabayu, and so on and so forth.
Where it's different.
So to get everything first, we isolate it using this tag, the one that covers everything. So how do we do that? Okay, so let's close this a bit. How do we do that? Is to
Hey,
get
quick question.
yes.
How do you separate your code slices? Because
Oh
when I
yeah,
run my code, it runs the whole thing. And you get that. Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
yeah. Hover it underneath the bar, and you can add the code there.
Really? Okay, how can I? Yeah, my hover doesn't do that. Weird.
Oh, your code doesn't do that. Oh, on the top left part, plus code
Okay. Plus
like
code.
this.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
And then let me hover. I, I don't get that at all. Oh, weird. Okay. Can I share my screen just real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah. Of course, of course, of course. Okay,
When I was interpreting this just before, it goes back to the whole import library thing that was kind of annoying. It slows
yeah, it takes time, right?
down.
Oh, quit the output first. Accept the output first.
Except the output.
Yeah, and the door that looks like a door. Yeah, go a bit up. Yep, there you go. You made a new blocks without you knowing just now.
Okay.
It
Oh yeah.
was just with the output. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Done. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So what we'll do next is to isolate it, right? And this is where parsing using beautiful soup is really interesting. So a beautiful soup item is called soup. You can name it anything. You can name it X. You can name it Y. But a good practice is to name it with the same name that you will identify it with. So I'll say that it's a soup. Is equal to it's a beautiful soup item, and just insert the response back to the beautiful soup. And remember to add the text there because it will only receive the text. And then in what style do we want to parse it with? And there are a lot of choice: HTML, LXML, and usually I just do it with LXML. And actually, LXML is another library, and I don't know in Google Colab if it requires us to actually install it again. But let's start to run it first. Okay, it worked apparently. So after if it worked, we'll try to print the soup again. It will return the same thing basically. Beautiful soup. We'll kind of like make it look better. It will be more readable in comparison to this like this. If it's like this, right? If it's not quite readable, beautiful soup makes it easier to read it, and also it will already identify like, oh, this is the is a link tag, meta tag, and so on and so forth. That's what's parsing used for. So now I can easily now operate on the soup, right? Because it's already a beautiful soup item. I will isolate the part where I want it. And before that, let's check. Okay, I want the div with class of s minus s dash mh, and let's see if it's if there are any duplicates. Okay, I see here that there are three div tag with s dash mh and s dash repeatable. There is this one here, the second one, the one that we wanted, and also the third one is somewhere here. I don't know what's this, but it's there are three hits for minus mh and s minus repeatable, and that's not ideal actually because yeah, and that, but that's the real case. Sometimes we can hit three different things that have the same class because it can be not unique, and therefore let's operate first. Find soup is equal to soup dot find all. What do we want to find? We want to find the part which has a division tag. Division tag is the first part, div tag. With what condition? What's the condition? The condition is the class has to be this. If you only write division tag, it will return every division, which is division container,
Right.
division class this, division repeatable item, and all the division it will return. But using the attribute, you can kind of isolate it and find the specific one. So I want the division which has a class, a double colon of this. Right. So let's see how many hits does it get. Is it the same as the one that we got in the website? Let's run this, and also let's print the length of the soup, the resulting soup. Result set object no attribute fine. Oh, sorry, because it's okay. The length is 0. It can't actually find the thing that we wanted because of this. It has a space here. We can't actually combine it as one, but we have to kind of like separate it into two different things. Let's try it again. The first SMH, there are 4 hits, but then let's add another parameter. I also want the class to also include the second one. Let's repeat that part and also that part. Okay, there are still 4 hits for some reason. That's no problem actually, because we can kind of isolate and find it one by one. Okay, so how do I find one by one? It's a list, right? Anyone remember?
Yep.
Maybe Mr. Jing. How do we if there's a list, how do we access the list one by one?
For name. Oh God, for name. I forgot. And yeah, for name and then the list.
Yes, the soup.
Okay. And then print name.
The name, yeah, that's one way we can access the name one by one. And this will give us everything, right? But in this case, I wanted to isolate just the first part. Let's say there are 4 things in the list. I want to see what's in container 0, what's in container 1, what's in container 2, and what's in container 3. So what I'll do actually is I want to print the soup number 0. Okay, and in this soup number 0, we see that the file actually that we want is not here. There is no Jing, Wayana, and so on and so forth, right? Does it make sense?
Yep.
Right. So yeah, I checked again. What about container number 1? Okay, let's search again. Oh, there's Jing, there's Wayana, but is it the one that we wanted? Let's see. Oh yeah, there is a 3,300 reviews since 2012. But I think this refers to the accounts, right, that you have by you Vista, and because it points to Airbnb website actually.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the page of is the Airbnb page. So it's not the thing that we wanted, that we want. So let's go back here and see whether, oh yeah, it's here. Actually, the container number 1 refers to this part. Jing and Wayana, Wayana and Bukit Vista, Jing and Bukit Vista, Bayu and Bukit Vista. So what should I do next? Let's say Andre. If this is not the one that I wanted.
Andre left already.
Okay, I should see. Okay, Kabayu, what should I do next if it's not the one that I wanted?
Bayu, you're muted.
Muted, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm on another page. What is the question again?
If I check the container number 0, number 1, then how do I find the one that I wanted? Do I just go through the next one, or what do you think?
Can we just use regular expression?
Oh, that's actually quite advanced regular expression, and yeah, it's a parsing method. But they're using Beautiful Soup. If you don't have to use regular expression, you can not use regular expression.
I think I have it. I just went soup 2. I found it.
Yep, correct. So you go to Soup 2, and you'll find that the data that you wanted is already there.
Ta-da!
Right?
Okay.
Right. So next, okay, if that's the data that I wanted, next I have to find all of the things that I want, right? We
Right.
have already all of this, like this. We have all of this, div, everything.
Vinny, another
And we
question.
want to,
Could I,
yep.
how when I do that Command J, Command Option J, my entire screen becomes that black side. Oh, what?
Oh,
How
yeah,
do I?
you can actually drag it.
But I can't drag it because wait, maybe I can. I just haven't. What? Oh, weird. Okay, it just became top and bottom now. Okay, weird. I have the same thing as you, but okay, I'll share a screen real quick. I have the same
Right.
thing as you, but it's top and bottom. I'm not sure why the. I guess that's okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's top and bottom. Oh, yeah, it's about the display actually. You can set it where you want it to be. Yeah, like this. The
Oh, okay.
dot side
Three
at
dots.
bottom or left or whichever you want it to be.
I see. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. That's
So
it.
now we want to find which tag actually refers to each of the profiles, right? So I found it here, and by hovering my mouse, I can get this one. Should we get this one? No, right? Because it only refers to the image, but we want to isolate all the information of the people of each person to get every information that we can get. So we will try to hover that a portion that actually refers to, let's say, Mr. Jing. I can get the name, the image, and the title, also the description of Mr. Jing. So let's see here. If it's a div that has a class of clearfix, and we can iterate it again and again. So next, if we already have this soup number two, I can just transform my soup equal to soup number two and run it again. Now my soup is equal to this part, right? So next, yeah, I can just do it again. Let's say the data set is equal to soup find all and select which div, sir.
Okay. I was still doing the last thing, but clear fix class equals
Yes,
clear fix.
right. So it's a div, and also the parameter is class double colon and clear fix.
Okay.
So if we check the length of the data set here, we will expect to see. Oh, it sends back us back 18. We have to count it one by one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, right? 9 times 2 is 18, right? So we got exactly what we wanted,
Oh wow.
right? So now we have to parse it because each of the list here correspond to each employee that is pasted in Bukit Vista. Now, okay, let's say I want to get the name, I want to get the title and the description. So what we do here is just, okay, let's create a list.
Interesting.
I want a list of name and I declare it as a list. I want the title and I also declare it as a list. And I want the description and I declare it as a list. And maybe if I want the image, I can also get the image. Okay, I now have a list, and let's populate this list. And how do we do that? We iterate through the data set. So just as what Mr. Jing just now explained already, for let's say employee in data set, right? And then if I print the employee here, I will get the iteration of each employees, right? So now I know that it's whatever is within this clear fix. I can kind of isolate each of the information that I want. So let's say in this clear fix, I will go deeper inside this clear fix. I have a div class, and I go deeper again in this image, and it will isolate the image only, right? And I go deeper again, I will get this part, but there is still an orange part there. I go deeper again, it will only get the blue part. If I go deeper again,
Wow.
there's another div, deeper, deeper, and I see that there's a.href which refer to the link of your LinkedIn. Oh yeah, we'll add that too. actually. So let's say I also want to get your LinkedIn URLs, let's say. Okay, that's quite easy because it's very specific and it's very different. If you see here, the tag is not div, but it's a,
Mm.
right? Okay, so let's try do that first. And I believe that all of the other profiles will have the same kind of like the same thing basically. It will have a LinkedIn account too, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's see. Is there a LinkedIn account here? No, it can't be pressed, right? You can't press it. Only Mr. Jing has the LinkedIn account. We'll have to deal with it later. Oh, no one has a LinkedIn account attached to this except Mr. Jing, actually.
Mm.
Very interesting. Okay, we'll deal with that later. But then let's try to get the image first. Okay, the image is located in this URL, right? User images strikingly. Oh, we save it in strikingly. Okay, so let's try to open it, and if we open the link, we can actually get the image, right?
Mhm.
So we want to kind of like save this link in our, let's say, in our data set. How do you get that? Try to search. We'll see the tag of an image is very unique because the tag is
IMG.
image, img, correct. So yeah, if we try to do the same thing as what we did before, we'll populate this list, and let's say in the employee, I want to get the employee dot find. I kind of because I believe that there's only one unique tag for this. Just therefore, I don't have to print find all, but I can just put find. And even there, if there's a lot of entries, it will only stop at the first entry that hits the condition. So I put img here, and then because I want a specific part of the img tag, which is there's the img tag, and I want a specific part of the img tag, which is the source, which is marked by src here. I can access it directly through Beautiful Soup by trying to treat it like a list or a dictionary actually. So I just want the src part. Okay, let's try to print the image source and whether it will work. Okay, wait, the source is all the same, is it? Isn't it? Or is it not? It all reads the same thing, right? Oh, it's actually we got the wrong thing actually, because maybe there are multiple images target in this particular div maybe. Let's see if there are any others. Let's say we want to find all that has the tag image. And how many do we have? Okay, so we got the data source is that and that. Oh, I think because actually we did just now. I think image alternate. Yeah, we did it just now, but because the size of the screen is not big enough, but I think we revert to all here and get the, oh, not src but data dash src actually. Okay, right? The data dash src will point us to the position of the image. Here, is it the same? Data dash src. Yes, it's not only src. So let's print again. Okay, what's this?
I got
Oh,
that too.
you got it that too?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's try to print this part again. Okay, and I want to. Oh, okay. I got it. So there are. I think. Oh, yeah. Because we use find all. It's actually, look at the braces here. It means that it's actually accessed as a list. Let's try to use find only. If you use find, there is no brace, so it's not a list.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Because find all indicates that you're expecting multiple result, and therefore you have to kind of access them with integer first, like what we did. So it's like employee 0, employee 1. So it's a list of results. So result 0, result 1. But if we only use find, it will only return the beautiful the soup data. So now we can already access it again using what's the okay, the tag, the attribute. This is called attribute in the tag data dash src. And if we print it, okay, we have the we actually have the let's try open this one. Okay, we got it. And let's try to open randomly this one. Okay, we got it. So we got the image links.
Nice.
Okay, so we can save it into the database, but we have a double dash here, and it will kind of ruin if we ruin our search, but we can clean it later. But for now, let's just try to collect all the data first. Okay, so now I've demonstrated how to get the image, right? Now, maybe Kabayu, can you point us how to find the name?
Yeah, sure. I think can you show me
Yep.
the response? Yeah. Okay. So that actually you can just click on that one, yeah, and then click on the name. Then you will get that. Let me see. Not the text, but something
Yes.
in the paragraph or what is that? What is that? Uh, Let me see. Ah, that one. So there's a tag in a tag, right?
Oh, there's an A tag, right?
Yeah.
But we've noticed just now that in Miss Wayana's profile, let's say there is no A tag. We have to find something that is general, right?
Oh, there's no link. Yeah.
Yes, right, correct.
Yeah. So I think can we get everything from the p tag?
P tag. The
Yeah.
problem with P tag is there is no class,
I see.
so it's not unique.
Mm,
It will be more difficult for us. Now we go up again. That's a good inducing method to go up from the bottom.
okay. Let's
Okay.
see. Okay. So that's this one H3. Is there anything?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
This might work. Let's try it again. So how do we do that? Do that. We
Just
get this, and then
class. Yeah.
we find int, and then employee actually, and also find. Let's say we assume that the tag is what's the tag just now h3, and then we h3, and this time we do not actually want to get the attribute, right? We want to get the text inside,
Yeah.
and it's very simple. We can get from dot text, and let's try to run it again. Actually, it doesn't get anything.
Hmm.
So it means that h3 is also available in other part of the text, maybe. So
Oh,
we
probably
visualize
it's
it. Yep.
yeah. After H3, then we can get the paragraph part of the text, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, correct. So because just now I didn't specify that the h3 that I want has the class of this, right?
Hmm.
So I'll have to add the parameter here with the class of this, and we have to try to print again. Okay, so h3, apparently the h3 is not unique. The file, the data is not there, right? So there's other h3 class that has no data inside, if it makes sense.
Okay.
Where is it? So, or maybe the data is not parsed there. There's a lot of indications, and it's always about trial and error with this kind of with um, scraping. That's why it takes a long time. But here we see that it's exactly the same as font heading, but there is no. Oh yeah, yeah, right. You can actually, but the p is not also not available here, right?
Hmm.
Let's see if I can work something out. We find all maybe. How many entries are there? Oh, there's only one entry. So it's true that the h3, although it's written here inside, we can't actually find the content. for some reason, right?
Mm.
So yeah, you can access the P, right? Ka Bayu said. Let's try to access the P part. So it's easy to find it. So if you found the find all, find, change to into find, and then we press dot P.
Okay.
None. So there's no data inside. So we kind of picked the wrong part of the tag. It's not supposed to be history for some reason. So maybe let's try to find in S item title. Is it unique? Yeah, title, subtitle, and text, right?
Mm.
It's three times. It's three things. Okay, let's try to find it again. Oh, okay. Right. I think I know the problem, but let's try this first. S item title. Okay. Let's try to run it again. Okay. I think, yeah, for some reason we got it, right? If we go high enough, somehow it can capture the thing. And the only text that is available in here is only the name. Therefore, we can enter dot text, and suddenly we have the name.
Mm.
There you go. So just now, what the problem might be is that there are several H3 that has the same class, and it's the one that is scraped. That might be the case, but mm, honestly, I'm not really sure because yeah, scraping takes a long time because you have to read the whole HTML file and figure out the pattern. But through this, we've isolated both the name and also um, the link to the image. So now we will try to find the other things such as the title, and an iteration. You have to find the employee dot find with a specific tag and attribute. So maybe Mr. Jing, let's try with you. How do you find the title?
Oh wow. All right. Let's see. I would. Okay. Let me share my screen. I'll try to see what I can see. Uh, S item title. Wait. Okay. All right.
Yes, as item title is the name, right?
Okay. So maybe S item subtitle.
Yep, that's right. As item subtitle. So it's the same. It's also a div class with the attribute of as item subtitle, and we will get the text because we assume that everything inside the text, the text that is contained in as item subtitle is always only the one that we want. And let's try to print it again. Yep, we got it. There you go.
Nice.
Everything. So now it's for the description, it's basically the same. Print employee, find a div with class of same thing. It's this website is coincidentally this website is very neat, and we can get it kind of easily, and there is no mechanism to stop people from web scraping, unlike a certain website,
Okay.
Airbnb, right? So we get the text, and yeah, there we go. We got the description, the name, and also the link to the image.
Vinny, really quick again.
Yep.
You mentioned that websites like Airbnb are difficult to scrape. Is that because they have like everything's loaded on JavaScript? So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
So you're not
yep.
seeing data, you're seeing animation. Is that or
We're seeing the code that is used to generate the content.
oh, abstraction. Okay.
Abstraction, yeah. So because we're using request, which is not really a browser, we only get the initial state of the website.
Got it.
But if you're using the actual browser, the browser will actually try to load the JavaScript process.
Got it. But then eventually the content is downloaded onto your browser, right? So
Yes, exactly.
okay.
But because we are using a library that requests and get the data of the initial state only,
Oh,
it will only load the code to produce the content, not the content itself.
got it. So then the content itself is
Yes,
Not
not yet deleted.
unstructured data.
Yes, correct.
Actually, if we look deep enough on in this case Airbnb web, actually the data is already structured, and we can actually just get the JSON data, which is
Yes,
part of
this
the
is what I
data.
did with the pricing scraper. I found this after a long reading of all the JavaScript. Actually, they have a JavaScript tag that contains a JSON file that has the information, and that's how I got it. That's why. And the problem with doing it this way, we rely a lot on the class or the ID, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And in case of JavaScript, because they use React, the class actually is a randomized character.
So it might change every time. You mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every time it loads, it changes.
Also, you can't consistently scrape them,
Exactly.
but you can scrape once correctly, or like.
Or maybe once when we load the page,
Uh-huh.
the class is this, right? And you try to get it on the code, and when you try to run your code again, the class changes.
I see.
So there are two ways of doing it. You kind of like collect all this list of classes that might appear,
Okay.
or you just find the JSON file.
Interesting. Now, why does Airbnb do this? Really, just to discourage scraping, or is there another better like?
Yeah, I think first if you use React to develop your website or any JavaScript method, the class is randomized. Yeah,
Right.
but uh, from my experience, even using some tools that is able to load JavaScript like Selenium, if you try to automatically click on the page, there's a blocker. Something blocks the automation tool to click the button.
Interesting.
So it seems like a deliberate attempt to not allow scraping.
I see. Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Right. So let's continue. Yeah. So now that we've got all the information that we need, we have to compile it into pandas. And if you remember correctly, how do you import pandas, sir? Do you remember?
Import pandas. No, actually, I don't remember. Wait, give me.
You're right.
No,
Import pandas, right? But then we alias it as PD.
oh yeah, that's pretty okay.
That's why it's very simple. Python is very simple. Import pandas is import pandas,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Okay. So how do we do this? So first, after we've created this list, we will also initialize the data frame actually. So we have a data frame that is a pandas data frame object, and let's say we want the data frame headers to be a list of the information that we want, which is name, title, description, and image. We will skip the LinkedIn first because apparently only Mr. Jing has it. And let's try to print the data frame initially. PD, oh yeah, I haven't do this. Okay, got it. Okay. How do you call a data frame again? Is it data frame? d.df, data frame. Data frame. Oh, there is no headers. I forgot what's the header name. I think it's header, not headers.
Oh, I see where this is
Oh,
going.
columns? Is it columns? It's very. Oh, columns. Yeah, it's columns. Right. Okay. So I've got an empty data frame that has the column name, title, description, and image. So we have initialized an empty data frame. And how do you input all this data into data frame? We can actually do it in two ways. First is to insert a list or insert a dictionary object, right? If you want to insert it as a dictionary, it's safer because a list, it depends on the order of the file that you're like it depends on the order, so it will be appended to the data frame directly. I'll try to demonstrate this. So if we have a list now, because we're sure that the data is in order, yeah, I will append the information to the list. So I will replace the print here with name dot append and insert this. So what I do this in each iteration, the information that I got about the name, which is Jing, Wayana, Rafik, I will append them in my list.
Wow.
Object number zero will be Jing. Object number one is Wayana. Object number two is Rafik, and so on and so forth. And I will do the exact same thing with the title. Also, title dot append, and also description dot append. Also, image dot append. So basically the same thing. And after I run all of this, oh, the description. Oh, description, right? Description. Okay, there's no error. And what I expect is the list will already be populated with this information. So let's try to print the list. I will print the name here. And I have all the names in order. I will print title here. And I expect that each of this, each of the index will correspond to each of these description. So next zero, Jing, hospitality entrepreneur. Wayana will be co-founder. Rafik will be community manager. Bayu will be CTO. And because we're sure that the data are in order, we can do it this way. But in other practice, we can try to use a dictionary and so on and so forth. But after I've populate the list, I will populate the data. Yep. Oh, I will populate the data frame basically. So how do I do that? Is I will select my data frame, and then I will select the column name, which is a name, let's say, and I will just say that it's equal to the list, and I will do it. I will do the same thing. Data frame with the column name title is equal to title. Data frame description is equal to the description. Data frame, data frame.
Hey, babe, there's
Image
that is looking for you.
is equal to the image. So now at the end of this, let's try to print the data frame. Okay, there you have it. We have a data frame that is populated with all of this information basically. There are 4 columns and 18 rows. And from here, we know that there are 18 entries, 18 inputs in the website. Or if we subtract the U, there are 17 employees that are posted in the Bukit Vista website. So that's kind of how we can scrape the information. And this can be done also on news website, other website that has a structure. So we kind of hope that the developer of the website keep the website in a certain structure in web scraping. So yeah, I guess that's the intro to web scraping. And again, if you want to, if you're doing it in Visual Studio Code, we can kind of move it into a CSV file, data frame dot to underscore CSV, and the name of the file, let's say dataset.csv. But in Google Colab, I think it doesn't appear. Oh, it appears.
Got it.
Dataset.csv, right? And we download this, and let's open this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there we have it. We have the name, the title.
Oh my God.
And also the image.
Wow.
There we have it. So, okay, that's basically the basic of web scraping. After web scraping, it's usually data cleaning, and we operate on the data, what to do. Let's say, because for example, in here, we only have the URL, right, of the image. Now we want to download all the image, that's also possible. We want to do other stuff, that's also possible. Okay, I think we ran out of time. Maybe if there are any questions regarding this topic, but to summarize it, we have three different libraries actually that we use in this particular sharing session. We have request, pandas, and beautiful soup. Request is used to act as a simple HTTP library to get the HTML file. Beautiful Soup is used as a parser, and Pandas is used to contain our data. We learn how to retrieve the HTML file, how to parse it, and how to populate our data frame based on the information that we've scraped.
That is
Basically,
cool.
that's the summary of the web scraping.
That is pretty elegant. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Cool. Bayu, you're smiling. Have you done this before?
I'm using other method actually,
Okay.
but yeah, it can be breakdown a similar way.
Okay.
I actually have a question. So, can we put an action on this? Like, for example, I want only parse the uh, uh, if the page have a drop down, for example, for a filter. So,
Right.
can we put an action on the script so we only choose the filter? Because
Okay.
like Airbnb, like for example, there's a page where it's only load like all of the data, for example, but I want only the data that have like this month, for example.
Oh yeah. Beside Airbnb, Airbnb is special because usually if you have a page that provide filter, you can see the URL, right? In the URL, usually if we send a request, it will change. Like in Airbnb, let me choose Airbnb as an example, right? Okay, if we have Airbnb and we search on the page, basically, I say Bali. Wait, one Bali, right? And we search, and then you can see that there are a lot of queries here, right?
Hmm.
What's the type? What's the tab ID? What's the path? And let's say if I move this a little bit here, you notice that okay, actually the parameter for the latitude, longitude, the zoom is already there. If I want to find the type of place, let's say entire place, let's say I save it, and there's here the filter entire home. So the query usually the URL, if it's a get method, it will change in the URL. So we can kind of do this in Python by selecting if the user wants this, then the URL for the particular parameter will be populated with this string, let's say, and that's what the query will request from the server,
Hmm.
and that's how you get the specific thing that you want.
Oh my God! Did you see that? You can get a villa for. Okay. Wow. Wow.
$18, right?
Actually, my question is more about yeah. We will be lucky if we have
Yes.
if we can have some parameter URL
Yep.
parameter in there, right? But unfortunately, we're not lucky, right? So
Yes.
uh,
Unfortunately for Airbnb, we're not that lucky. Yeah.
no. This is for me. Like I want actually to download some files that is actually provided for us, but I need to click and wait until everything loads.
Okay. For that one, actually, we have a tool for that. That's what I use for scraping of amenities in Airbnb because I have to click on something.
Hmm?
Okay. It's called Splash. So it's also a Python library.
Hmm?
Splash, but but Kabayu as a CTO, of course, you can do it. You must uh, initiate it into a Docker container,
Hmm?
a JavaScript rendering service, and you can actually put a JavaScript code to click on the button.
I
So
see.
the code for the JavaScript will be similar to the one that I made for payout, automatic scroller for payout.
Okay.
But this time it's you just insert the parameter as the JavaScript code. So in your Python file, after you request, so how it works is like this. Your Python request will go to the Splash server that has been initialized with Docker, and the Splash will request it to Airbnb and act as a browser without actually opening the browser. So it's almost as quick as using not using Selenium. So yeah, you run it with Docker. It will be like an intermediary so that it can load or click using on the JavaScript button, by on the button using JavaScript. So it's called Splash.
Okay,
So that's what I use. Yeah.
let's try that.
Yes, and the code of the clicking will be very similar to the payout scraper that I made for the auto scroller. And this is not, I think not a lot of people use this Splash, but it's very handy because the other option is to use Selenium, which opens the browser and it's very slow. So if you use Splash, it's almost as quick as a request. And you can set the wait time into 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, according to your internet speed.
Wow, interesting.
So yeah, Splash
Are
and
you,
request. So it's a combination of both.
Vayu, is that for finance report, like getting the finance reports out?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, interesting. All right, there's a real life application to that right away.
Yeah, actually for JavaScript, we also use it for automatically get the load, something like that. But the only problem with the scraping is that it's difficult to get something that you have to log in for. You have to log in. If it's not available directly, it's quite difficult. You have to do something else.
Got it. Okay, cool. Wow. Docker kind of triggered this thought process in my head, video, which is I don't know why, but I started thinking about Kubernetes, and I'm not really sure what Kubernetes is, and you seem very excited about it. What exactly is Kubernetes, and why is everyone so excited about it? And does it relate to Docker?
Basically, it's I think Kubernetes is quite new. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like how do you? So it automates the deployment and kind of like scale the server size, the container size, depending on the resource that you're using.
So it's a virtual machine, but it's a
Yeah,
self.
for virtual machine, but it allows you to auto scale the machine.
Oh, it's a smart virtual machine.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it's a not a lot of people can operate that actually.
Got it. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I saw that there was a lot of
It's
excitement.
very specific. Yeah, it's very specific in the world of DevOps, I think.
Ah,
And
right. Okay, those guys.
yeah, DevOps.
Actually, there's not a lot of companies that need that. Actually,
Yeah,
it's for the sake of the coolness, right? Like, oh yeah, we are using Kubernetes. But
Kubernetes. Yeah.
I heard.
yeah, like running like services like Google or like Gojek, for example, or something that really big and have a lot of microservices.
Yeah.
Then you can use Kubernetes to organize a lot of DevOps team into one.
Well, let's hope we need it one day. That'd be
Of course. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool. Okay, wow, Vinny, thank you for demystifying the other each lesson. I think is progressively thinner too as well. You can see there's few people that can follow it, and people just like
Yeah.
ready to bell. But I get it, and I thought this was actually pretty elegant, and it demystified the idea of what web scraping is, and it made it very digestible actually. So thank you for that. Any comments on your side, buddy?
No, everything. Yeah, it's good. Actually, this is a good what's it called? A bite-sized learning. So
Yeah.
not intimidating. Yeah. So if we are saying like, oh, let's learn Python or learn programming, then it's like
Yeah. Too much, right?
weird science, right? But if it's like in a practical way, like let's try to parse something or let's try to do something, and then the tools will be introduced later, rather than we focus on the tool first. I think this is I just read a tweet, pretty smart and real tweet actually. This is about the math education. So this person think that the math education is taught wrong at the time. Yeah, because the students are teach on the algorithm, all the math and everything, but don't know actually what problem it solves. It,
Yeah.
it should be the reverse, right? So it should be coming from the problem and then introduced into the tools to solve the problems.
Yeah.
I think this one is good.
Okay, cool. I would tend to agree. I thought that made normally whenever
Hilang.
learning about coding.
Magically
Oh,
Oke.
disappear.
Tadi aku udah send
I'm,
tanda skripnya.
I'm here.
Aku coba tapi nggak bisa, masih belum akurat.
Am
Oh,
I?
belum akurat. Kurang apa?
Aku juga nemuin sama aja hasilnya kayak gitu. Masih apa namanya? Ada yang